Gora team, welcome back to Stranded Alien Dawn on PS5. It is year 9, it is day 14. Sorry, I meant to bring you in at day 12. I got bogged down in things. I was too busy getting people to do stuff and insect attacks and so on. I completely forgot. What's happening? Oh, what's not happening? Things are breaking. Look at this. Broken, malfunctioned. We need stuff to fix it, and then the battery went as well. Oh, also needs stuff, needs electronics. So I'm trying to get them to smelt some stuff, which, as you know, with these people is easier said than done. We've done a bit more construction. As you can see, we've finished with the fence, in that we've got all the wood we need for the fence. So we've started looking at construction. So let's slow down because quite a few things have happened actually. So we have finished chopping down all the wood that we need. There's not just big open spaces around us now. Deforestation. They'll grow back, probably. So we have managed to achieve all that, and we are slowly working our way around actually constructing it now that the wood is actually there. I finished the allocation of all these devices around here and all of the sensor arrays. It's getting complicated now because you've got sensor array, sensor array, sensor array, and then you've got field of view. I'll show you what I mean if you try and place one. Nah, look at that. So that's all of the coverage of all of the things, which then makes it a bit of a nightmare to kind of do that, and changing the floor level doesn't help. I wish you could switch some of these off because it's not easy. The greens are the whatchamacall them, these things here, lightning rods. So the greens have an area effect, which is lightning rods, which shows up, and then when you place these, they have areas of effect. Anyway, trust me, what I did was I had a look and said, well, this is an area of effect, and we'll have an overlap, pardon me, with this area of effect, and so on. So I went around and did all that. Pardon my cough. And made sure that I have coverage. Then I went round, laser, gun, laser, gun, gun, laser, gun, laser. So this is all of the base defenses in general that we're going to have in terms of groundworks. Eventually we'll research flak cannons, and we'll probably need, it's probably not as many, like one over here, one over there, one over there, like 3 flak cannons. They have some pretty good coverage, and they only really come in important with flying things. The guns can catch the flying things if they're low to the ground out here. The issue comes in when they're flying in high over the buildings. You can't deal with them then with the guns. You've got to have the flak cannons. So there you are. So we've progressed some of those things. We've actually needed to look at building a new freezer because this freezer was full. I didn't realize they're storing food over here, which is why the food keeps going off. I'm like, why does that food keep going off? There's no way to, I don't know how to prioritize them to get food. They do all kinds of weird things when it comes to food. But anyway, I didn't realize they were storing food here. It must have been a hangover from when I set it up. I forgot to change it. It got damaged and I had to rebuild a new. Anyway, the point is this is now full. Rah-de-rah. So I need to build a new one. Anyway, let's get her researching because that makes her happier. So anyway, that's the situation. So I've planned out where we are, and then obviously, sorry, I had to go around and work out how we would add power to power these things, and power these things, and this was the arrangement I got, which is a kind of a hazy spider's web. We don't need one across here. The system is looped in, so the whole loop feeds in, And hopefully, I need a power pole out there. This one, when it gets lightning, will feed the batteries. This one, when it gets lightning, will feed the batteries. What I want to do is, oh gosh, is get one down here. It's power. Because I need to protect my, I can put that there. I need to protect my things down here that get struck by lightning and destroyed, which we don't want. So with these three, they're all tied into the electricity. You can see from the lines on the ground, they'll be will be tied in. When the lightning strikes any of those, we will end up acquiring all of that into our batteries, which, aside from the fact this one is broken, are all at full capacity anyway. What's the battleship got to sell us? They will sell us fuel. That's good. They'll sell us weaponry, but they won't buy any of our old weaponry, which I think, to be fair, we're out of weaponry now, which is something of a concern to me. I wonder if we should buy something. How much trade goods have we got? 4.6k of trade goods. They won't. I don't want to sell them. I usually keep this around about 50. So I'm happy to sell to 50, which is fine. That's 10k, give or take a squeak. I think we need 30 of that. And I think, honestly, 42k. Ooh, I'll not like it. I'll not like it. Should I do it or shouldn't I do it? Not, I think, at this stage. We've just loaded her up with a new sniper rifle. She has... oh, it's not in great condition. I might change my mind on that. Yeah, we don't have anything. I think I'm going to buy one of these. It's going to take us down 35k, and I get it. I get that's not ideal. But given the current condition of things, given that we're trying to repair some things, given that we're trying to do all the bits and pieces that we're trying to do, I really honestly feel like we need to get at least one more weapon in the bank. So we're moving on with some future planning, and we're moving on with trying to complete these defenses. We're moving on with testing some things. We're moving on with building out the power supplies and various other bits and pieces that need to be done. I need to get some more wood constructed so I can get some things built. I probably want to get this one built, because then that one will tie in this. Oh no, this is already tied in. Oh well, I'll do that one anyway. So yeah, we're moving on, and we've got crops, and we've got food, and we've got fuel, and we've got energy crystals, and we don't have mushrooms. We need to start thinking about maybe we want to plant some more mushrooms now that we've got some food sorted. We got 512 buttermelon. We've got a lot of dandelion spores, so we can make some of that pain relief tea. And we've got bits and pieces. We've got some grain. I think, are we working on antibiotics? No, we must have not. That's that, and that's that. Oh, we could get that sorted, man. What are you doing? Get some fuel on the go. Never mind whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you're doing it. Where are you doing it? You're nowhere. So anyway, so we're working on things, but things are progressing, and we've got a little bit more time to get things done. Emmeline is still the legend that she is, and that's great. We are moving along, we are progressing, and Xander actually went up a level in his farming, so maybe he's getting a little bit better. He's finished doing what he's doing there. I just need to keep an eye on him. He's not the most efficient in the world, but I mean, he's not bad. He's pretty good. And I've had Krista doing the construction, and all she's doing really is servicing these things and doing construction and going out on expeditions, because why not, really, I suppose. So there you go, that's it. Progressing very well. It's day 15. I promise this time I'll bring you in at day 24. I was just going to wait and see what happens with this thing that she's on. Here we go. Some debris. Dangerous to work with. A future blah blah blah. It's just on a crash site. Shame. Anyway, see you soon. Welcome back. It's day 24 this time. It is day 24. So we progress, we move on. We have this thing ready to build, and in fact she's going to build it now. And immediately after she has built it, just anytime soon. Anytime soon. Right, this is fully functioning. So what I need to do now is change this stockpile. Because this should not be taking raw food and cooked meals and medicines. Medicines need to go in the fridge. So, and the same with this one. So, no raw food, no cooked meals, no medicines. And then the drone can reload all of this stuff into the various freezers. There we go. We've now got 2 freezers. That stuff is beginning to go off. So there you are. So we've got that sorted. We got this repaired. We got this needs repaired, which it's ready to go. Let's get her onto that job. And we got this repaired, which was broken. Now we need to look at this. This is going to need This is going to need 5 electronics, and I mean we're going to need it eventually. But I still haven't got this thing built. It's ready to be built, but I haven't got it built. And we've also got all these animals that I need to get done. So there you go. So we are progressing. We're still good with the food front, which I'm happy about. We've got lots of dandelion spores, and in fact I don't think I need to plant that. I can stop that. In fact, what I'll do is I'll change the cop back. We'll do mushrooms on that one, because these are like trees, fruiting trees. I had to cut these out because of Xenophora blight. If you can save these from the Xenophora blight, then you harvest them. You don't chop them down. I had to chop those down because they have the blight, so I've had to do that a couple of times. So yes, so there you go. So we have progressed forward. We have fuel to go. We have this ready to go. Like I did say, I did buy that extra laser pistol because I felt like we needed it, and I still feel like we need it, and I still don't have his laser pistol's running low as well. I still don't have an armory in the expeditions. All the expeditions are here. We've got debris, the oil tanker, more debris, general exploring, which I've never seen armory from, debris, ancient ship, debris, and a crash site, which is more debris. So that's a pain. It is a significant pain. And sometimes they come back with stuff, but not hugely so. Let's send her on any old random expedition. Oh, that one. There you go. Send her on that one, see what she comes back with. So yeah, so we've moved forward. We've expanded. We've got lots of spores. They've got lots of this soothing tea. 24 and well, it's 32. We've got lots of food. We've got some balm. We've got 68 antibiotics. We've got 33 first aid kits. We've got some bandages. We're doing okay. We've got saving your bacon, Xander. We've got some scrap. We've got some alloys. We've got some wood. We've got quite a bit of hay. We have her working on CPU cores right now. We're sort of working our way through flat cannons as and when we can. I've got Xander making spears, which is fine. Remember, he likes crafting. It makes him happy, which is good. And every now and again, I get them to do some dandelion spores. It's waiting for fuel. That's why that. I probably need to replace that with an electric one, don't I? Really? I mean, I guess that's the answer there, isn't it? Well, it'll go there. What does it need? Just needs 20 metal alloys? Oh, well, that's alright. That's okay. Where's Xander? How far away is he? What's he doing? He's out here harvesting silicone. No he's not. He's harvesting grain cob. That's okay. Grain cob's good. We need grain cob because grain cob's essential for antibiotics. He's only just done like 2 and then he's gonna go to bed. I tell you what, before you go to bed, could you please do that? And maybe that? If you don't know, you can stack orders by highlighting the thing you're doing and pressing square. It doesn't show you that it's stacked, but it is stacked. So he's coming here. I know he's coming here. And he'll do this one and then he'll do that one, which is fine. So he'll stack that for us. And then, what do you see the speed of this thing? 23, 36, 48. Did he do this one? Is he still doing it? Still doing it. Here you go, done. Boom. I mean, before he even had time to go back and load the one next to him, he's already sorted. And we already have this, which is another 70. It's going to go into storage. So we're catching up. We're slowly catching up on the stockpiles of things. Specifically alloys. We're running a bit low on the old wood front. We've got an enormous amount of hay that we need to make some trade goods out of. Once I've made these CPU cores, and I really need to get little Xander Meander. Well, this is done now. Is that Krista? Krista? Could you do that? Oh, she's gonna have a meltdown. She's gonna have a little meltdown all to herself. If you could build the cooking stove, that would be awesome. Excelente. Feel free to go have a rest. So we need the dandelion tea. Let's, sorry, not set it to deconstruct. How did I do that? Right, there we go. Dandelion tea. So we need this to be, let's say, 10? Yes? And we want some quick recipes. We want some veggie soup. Let's say 10, because I like doing that. And we can also say meat soup, even though we generally don't have meat, but we'll say 10. You can do it with insect meat, which is fine. I know we use insect meat for the stuff as well, but there you go. So veggie soup, meat soup, tea, and we need the stimulating tea. And let's say 10. Right, so we've got some things lined up. They're the things that we're probably going to mostly do, really, if we even get a remote chance. I mean, the thing with this thing is it's drawing power whether we're using it or not. We really need to connect it up to this, have this made. So anyway, so we're moving forward and we're talking about planning and control circuits, and we're talking about on and off, and we've got the electric cooker, and we're talking about getting this lot finished, which is all part of the thing. I don't know why it does that. I didn't ask you to do that. I'll put that on her list of things to construct, and we'll carry on constructing. Xander's out doing his harvesting for his food, which is great because we may as well fill up the entire freezer with food. There's toxic gas, which is a bit of a pain. I tell you what, let's get him indoors, crafting spears, and let's get her indoors, doing research, and then nobody's sick outside. How about that? Because toxic gas is not good for you. We're trying to get this wall finished, but even if we do get the wall finished, we're not going to get the defenses that I want finished this year at this rate. Getting the wall done is pretty important, but it's the electronic components for these that is holding us up right now, and also, you know, the alloys, because it's a lot of alloys. You want to build one of these is 50 alloys, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. Well, that's 350 alloys right there, and we're doing okay, but we also have to craft each of these as well, which is, you know, another 5 alloys. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So, you know, and then you got to craft these, which is another 10. 10, 20, 30. So we're now up to like 415 alloys. So and then we need to craft spears because people don't have weapons. And I think we're good right now. Got one more spear to make, which would be pretty good. The healing balm could probably do with another 7, say. I'll crank this up to like another 20. Need to get onto these things if we ever get around to doing them. The first aid kits were cool for now. Bandages, I could do with like another 10 bandages. So, but this is just me being wishful, right? So this is things that would, you know, that would be good to get on and do when we have time to get on and do them. That's it. But I mean, that's what happens when you've got the benefit of spare time and spare capacity. We're looking into the wouldn't it be nice to haves. We've gone past the essentials. We've got the essentials covered. We're moving into the future planning and nice to have, including one of the things that would be nice to have is a door for this thing. Now the issue with this is that the door got damaged or something as part of something that it was doing. Anyway, the problem now is in the housing. If you select a door, a wooden door, for example, you can't build a wooden door without building without building a ramp. You can't just build the door. Wouldn't that be nice? So I think we had it as even a metal door. Now I can't do that, so then I have to deconstruct this to reconstruct it, and you know exactly what's going to happen. Exactly what's going to happen is I'm going to deconstruct it and not have enough stuff to reconstruct it, and then everybody's going to be stuck outside with no way to get inside. So I'm thinking about that one very, very carefully. I think, sorry, if we were to go with door and we were to go with a wooden door, which is fine, a wooden door at that level needs 20 wood. So in theory, I should be able to deconstruct this and then put in the template for the door and build the door. In theory. Ooh, man, you know what it's going to be like. Team, welcome back. It is day 36. Just day 36, actually, so it's middle of the night. Stop saying We've progressed a little bit further, as you can see. I still haven't built this, but the entirety of the wall is now finished, and I'm looking to secure the power. So you can see that the power poles have gone here. This one is to capture any lightning from over here. I don't think we need any from over here. It just means putting some unsightly power poles across there, and then they're at risk of being destroyed or damaged or whatever, and everything else. What did we get? What did we get? First aid kits, scrap metal, and antibiotics. That's not bad. That's not bad. Stop saying we're getting a few interesting things in these crash sites, so I'm going to stop ignoring them as much as I was. But what I will say is we have the security signal, and the security signal is usually the armory. Which is the one that we really want, because we are now desperately short. Her sniper rifle is toast. Where did it end up? It ended up as that it? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, where is it? Where is it? I had to put some more storage in, because we were running out of storage in the storeroom. So I changed maybe because it's damaged you can't recover anything for it, I changed all of the internal storage for things like fabrics, components, crafting materials, weapon tools, etc., which last indefinitely under the roof, which is fine, and I left this mainly for the larger construction items and various other bits and pieces. I was under the impression So there's some things here. This is done, bar. Need to get rid of that. That will save us. What is this? What is all this? Nothing here that needs to be dealt with. And nothing here. I guess when they take it off, it must be so bad that it's just automatically discarded and you don't get anything from it. Otherwise it would be somewhere and it's nowhere. So the point being that because of that, we don't have any spare weapons. So not having spare weapons is a bit dicey, especially seeing as his laser is low. Now, this battery, so we had a little bit of a bonus if I can get him to construct that battery, because I think it was actually Xander. Xander was out scavenging here or something, and he got 7 electronic components, which is just marvelous. That really gave us a little boost. We got a few things done. We got a few things repaired that were damaged. We got that constructed, which was, well, ready to be constructed, which is awesome, because then that's 4 batteries, and that's even more juice, which is, like I said, we want to fill this whole room with batteries. We're going to need it. We are going to need it. So that's the plan. So we're moving on with all of the stuff that we're moving on. We're ready for the dry season. We have a bunch load of food, which will keep us going. We have a good supply of medical components, which will keep us going. We've got an assortment of stuff which will keep us going. I think, in fact, I had summer pants down, but I don't need summer pants. What else do we not need? We've got 1 t-shirt, so we need some extra t-shirts. We've got 3 pants. We've got 1 pair of boots. So we do need shirts. The straw hats are very useful and they're very quick to craft. We do need some additional shoes, but we're good for pants. So we'll let Emmeline get on with doing that for now, because she's taking a little break from this lot, because we are working on silicon. We're short of silicon. We had Xenoflora Blight, we lost a harvest of silicon, and they do take a time to grow, but they are on their way back, so she's been taking a break from that. We have a bunch of the soothing, relaxing teas. I don't know if these people are actually having them. They must be, because their pain is usually 18, and it's now less. She's complaining because she's out on expedition. He should probably have some, and he's hungry, and he's gloomy, and he's stressed out. Because just he is. We had a nasty attack. We had to go over here. It was lots of flying critters, and we had to hide in the trees with the flying critters, and then a shrieker came along and injured some people, and there was all sorts of unpleasantnesses. But anyway, so we have moved on. We are moving on. We are progressing. We are now in the situation, dare I say it, where we are quote unquote comfortably moving along. I hate to say that, comfortably moving along. There's still problems. We still have issues with, we can't seem to stay on top of this, but as you've seen before, it's so fast that the problem is you'd need someone to service it all the time, and then you quickly run out of scrap, which is, you know, that's fine. It is what it is, and it is what it is. So we're going to be moving on. She's come back with 10 first aid kits, 10 antibiotics, and 70 scrap. That's awesome. That takes us well in the lead. I need to get her to put that on her list of things to do. Very definitely get that on her list of things to do. Xander's, there you go, having his tea, which is, yep, he enjoyed his beverage, it's reduced his pain, he's looking good, he's got a few things to do in terms of, I think, that's, I don't know what the story with Grain Cob is. We lost 1 plant, probably because he was sick. He's got to go deal with that. I don't think he has to deal with anything else, really. We started thinking about moving all of these traps over. We've got 3 doors here. I don't feel the need for a 4th. Normally the way the creatures pathfind, if I just slow down, is that they will come around to find the open gate. So I think if we have 3 gates, I think we're fine. Now the issue is with these gates is protecting the gates, because as you've seen, some of the faster critters, they'll storm the gates. We'll catch a lot of them with these weapons, but not all of them. So then the question is, how do we create a defense which slows them down? Now, the flamethrower is okay, but it isn't going to work here because there's just simply not enough space. So you could, in theory, hide it here. Make a little cubby here, or even possibly here, and build a little sneaky wall around it so that any of the creatures approaching the gate get the whole zap. You could even put it here and run a little bit of a death chamber to try and get to it. They often figure out that that's a hazard. And I think that would damage the wall and the gate. And so I think if you put one there, would that be enough to get them? Possibly, but would need to protect it. So if we were looking at doing something like that, I think what we'd have to do is we'd have to get maybe a stone wall, and we'd have to put it, you know, across there, and you'd have this stone wall, and then you'd have this lined up with traps, and they'd come round here and get stuck there. They get flamed. They've got these things pressing down on them. You run a few traps in here so that any get inside are taken out by some of the other guns, perhaps inside. That kind of thing. I'll leave that there while I have a think about it. I'll just mark it out as not for construction, so we're not using up any resources on it. This one may be a little bit better because you have the possibility of getting this here. I'm only concerned that it's awfully close to that soil, and my experience is that it tends to damage things again, so you're kind of left in the same boat with this in trying to put it off to the side. So we'd probably want to capture them there. So you're kind of looking at that. But then in this case, you're going to need even more, because you're going to need the pole defense maybe all the way out here as a little backup. And let's mark this as not for construction. And then maybe a small wall. Sorry, let's straight past it. And then this kind of wall out here. And then earmark that for construction. I think they'd probably attack that, is my only... I mean, this is standing guard over it, so you've got this kind of benefit, and then you load this area up with traps. This one I'm umming and ahhing about this one, because we could just literally plonk two side by side, and I think that would be vicious, wickedly vicious. And I think that this is far enough back that if we put one there, say, and we put one right there, I think, well, we might have to put it there. I think, can we move this one over? I think you have to cancel it and redo it. And put that there. And then what I would say is you take your fortification, which is this thing. Actually, I don't think I do. I'm worried about the fortification getting in the way of the guns. And then you could put that there like that. And same on the other side with the stone. It needs to go out there like that. And then we've got this also, you know, killing chamber, as it were, where they're coming directly in and they're going to be roasted, and we just fill this as well with traps, which is a lot of scrap. I mean, we have a lot of scrap. So that's probably not an issue, and we can get more. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, roughly. And you know, we could always maybe add a second one here and put a little chamber. And I probably what I'd want to see, I'd want to see what happens with this one in particular. This one I'm pretty solid on. I think this one would be absolutely fine, and that would work fantastically. I don't see any dramas with that. Oddly enough, this one seems closer. Can I move these closer? Let me just check here and see. Is this just because it's not quite centered? Yeah, I think it's because, yeah. Nah, any closer is going to be a problem. So I think that's kind of the defensive system I'm looking at. And I think once I get there, and obviously these will have a layer of traps outside as well to slow them down. You want to slow them down, especially some of the fast moving ones, the large mantises, and that other thing with the big horn. I don't think you see any around here, but there's like a big nasty one with a big horn that you see. It's fairly aggressive and fast, so it kind of plods along until it sees you, and then it gallops in for the charge, and it just storms over the top of the traps. The traps, I don't see any. The traps don't stand a chance really of stopping it. They sort of do in a way, and they sort of don't in a way. So you might even want to consider putting a brick wall across the front here. The problem being that the big ones that can't make it, they get to the wall and they shake themselves and fall apart. But that's, I mean, that's okay. We can, I think we can work with that. So I think we could, you know, we could work with that as a trapping mechanism. But I think on this one in particular, they would just come up to it and shake themselves. But and we would have to move these fields and things, which we're going to do. We're going to make the farm out here, remember? I just need to clear some space. This is just all about clearing the ranch and getting the defenses. So I think you're looking at, more or less, barring a thing or two, most of the main defenses laid out, which I think will probably function adequately well. Although this thing, as a really simple design for crowd control, has worked fantastically throughout the entirety of the game so far. It's not very complicated. It does take up a lot of things, and it does get permanently damaged. These things aren't perfectly placed. It's not ideal, but it's only failed me in that the people have been reached physically maybe a couple of times, and only when one or two of these flamethrowers hasn't been here. So this is a design is just fantabulous. It could, well, if you pushed it further out, that's fine, but you've still got the shriekers that can throw, and that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to throw things a distance. This adds some elementary cover, which is fantastic. I should probably build another one of those here, and another set over here, sporadically as cover. But other than that, it's fantastic. And now that we're moving on to this, I don't really care. So that's the situation, day 36. We're moving forward. As you can see, we've got plenty on the go, and on the go we have, and we've progressed significantly forward by the 2/3 point of the year. Sorry, 3/4 point of the year. And we've now got this happening. So we're now hopefully charging. It is nighttime. Yeah, we're still charging, and it's nighttime. So we're running a slight overabundance of power, which is fantastic. That's not a problem. I mean, we're planning ahead, so we're planning for some of these things to be up and running. So we should be okay. I'm going to work on getting these, at least the traps together. These are going to be tricky because of the amount of fuel that we need. We've got the fuel thingy. But that's it. Wait a minute, wasn't I going to send someone on an expedition? Yeah, this thing. Xander, you go. So yeah, that's more or less it. I think what I might do is oh, he's healing somebody. She's got pneumonia. What I'll do is I will quickly drop out, but I'll let you know about the security signal, and I'll see you in a second. Of course. Right, so here we are. Here's the expedition complete. It is... Oh, no weapons. That's just no good. And I don't think he's going to come back with anything. That's a shame. Anyway, see you at the end of the year. Well, Cura team, we are back. It is New Year's Eve, and Krista has just returned for a mission. She didn't bring anything because it was a cargo pod mission, and she had to put out some fires. But that's all right. We got enough fuel to fuel up the balloon for the next mission, and that's all well and good. At the minute, right now, we're struggling with a slight lack of electricity. It's coming and going, which is why the drone's playing up. It partially works and partially doesn't work, and partially works and partially doesn't work. The issue is that during the heat wave, these things grind down to an almost halt. I had to build another one of these because of the heat waves, essentially, and that one as well. So they're not covering it enough, and I'm not, thank you, I'm not comfortable enough about our fuel situation to use this thing just yet, because it chews through fuel. So I built it, and then I currently have no faith in being able to use it, because I'm kind of worried about the fuel situation. And I don't know if and or when I'll ever be happy about the fuel situation. So I don't know what to do about that. Whether I bite the bullet and dismantle it and recover the bits and pieces, or what I do. I'm not sure. We'll pick up. It's not the end of the world. We'll pick up. We've had some successive problems, which is why these weren't full to start with. Although I think, to be fair, at one point they were at 90 something %. So they're going down pretty fast. But I have been using these suckers, and these suckers are probably, I mean, they consume quite a bit, and I may need to think about putting these on an inactive circuit, and I'll show you that in a minute, because it took me a little bit to figure out, because I don't understand the English around it. They don't use English in a logical way that I would necessarily use it, and that's kind of what's made me a bit confused. But anyway, there you go. So that's the situation. Situationally speaking, we're fine. Obviously, we're moving our way through things, and we've got resources in various bits and pieces. We sold an awful lot of trade goods to a passing trade ship, and recovered some of our money that we had to spend on the laser pistol. We also recovered a laser pistol as well, so we have one in spare, which is perfectly fine for now. And that was during one of these spaceship debris things. So there's obviously a chance that you can get laser pistols. Why did that draft her? So we've got the base defenses up and planned from the wall perspective. Now, I put this thing here. This is the second one, actually. It's now off. The first time we had a bunch of little insects come through, and I wanted to see what would happen if it was switched on. We were over here, it was switched on here, and the long and the short of it is, it's not by itself sufficient to keep the insects at bay. So basically you got some, but then the rest just ran in here and trashed it, and that was, to be expected. My next experiment is, if it's switched off, will they go near it? Which I don't know. They trashed this lightning rod. They got a bee in their bonnet for lightning rods. I don't know why. So they've trashed that one. They've trashed that one. It's the only two inanimate objects they've trashed, not related to our defense. So I don't know what the story with that is. So my next experiment is, will they try and trash this? Because if they try and trash it while it's switched off, that poses a problem in terms of the amount of base defenses we need to put together before we construct these things so that they don't get trashed, essentially. And Obviously, the other issue is power. We're not quite generating enough power during extreme events like this extreme heat wave, which is a bit of a nuisance. So I don't think I can build enough of these things to have a completely redundant power system during a heat wave. But I need to have a look at that. I need to have a look at probably, you know, have a look at some math in terms of what are we producing, what are we consuming, and what does that overall mean. Given I haven't even switched these things on yet, and there's a bunch of them. You can imagine if these things are all on. I mean, they won't be all on. I mean, that's the point of these sensors. The point of these sensors is that if they're coming from this side, as they pass through this sensor here, these turn on. Blah 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 blah. As they pass through here, this one turns on. You know, blah 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 blah. And then when they pass outside the range of this one, these two switch off, and so on. And these two would never switch on. So it's not like saying they'll all be on at one time. The only time that might happen is flying insects, because flying insects trigger all of them, because they'll fly around and they'll pass all over here and everything else. So that's a bit of a drama from that perspective. Where are we with flat cannons? 93%. I should get her onto that. I'll line that up as something for her to do. What's Emlyn making? Looks like a spear. She's adding another spear to stock. That's fine. We could do with some more harvesting. We've got one in stock. I think realistically speaking he needs one because he's doing the most amount of harvesting. So anyway, that's the situation with defenses. So my next experiment is to see if they'll attack this when it's switched off. I also need somebody. Can I get you to do that? Because I'm kind of worried about that. We'll get this removed. This got trashed last time. It was a real mess. A real mess. In part because Krista was on an expedition and Xander fainted due to some kind of exhaustion or something. So that's been a bit of a drama. I haven't really progressed any of the other construction because there's been no need to as yet. So it's not like they're not doing it. I've set it up to be built, but I haven't. I want to conduct a few experiments about a few things, this and that, and so on. So one of the things is this tiny little air conditioner. Well, I don't know. It would struggle anyway to handle this, even if we had enough power. But we currently don't have enough power, and that's a bit of a perpetual problem. Because then we obviously can't use this either because it periodically switches off. Inactive circuits. Right, this thing is now deactivated. Because what I said was, well, I don't want this working if we don't have enough power, and that's fine. And I can probably do something similar for this, because there's no point having it switching on and switching off and switching on and switching off. We only need it to switch on. So how does this thing work with the inactive and active circuit? So it has it has an active and an inactive circuit. And if you read down here, it says in the description, when a sensor is active, it turns on the devices in its active circuit. So that means that when the device is activated, all the devices on the circuit are activated. Right? And you can set the threshold charge and say the sensor is active when the power stored in the batteries is below this threshold. So if you wanted this to turn on below 20%, right, what you would do is you would set this to the active circuit and you would set this to 20%. And then what that means is when the circuit drops below 20%, which is the threshold, the sensor switches on and is therefore active. The circuit is active, which then activates this, and that's the way it goes. It operates in reverse for the inactive circuit, which took me a little bit of time to figure out. But basically what it means is the threshold charge for this is 90%. So when the sensor is active, is below 90%. So basically, when the charge in the batteries drops below 90%, the sensor is on, right? So we want this to be off below 90%. So what this means is we set this as inactive to 90%. So when the sensor is inactive, that is above 90%, this will switch on. When the batteries are below 90%, this will switch off. So we hardly ever use this anyway. So I've put it at 90%, which is quite high, to say, well, if the batteries are 100% full, this can be on, and maybe if Emmeline's doing nothing, she can go and do a bit of cooking. But otherwise, it's really a luxury we barely use, so there's not much point in having it on. For this one, it might be different, and we might say that we want this on until we get down to like 50%. But I can't do it on one sensor. I'd have to do a second sensor and set it to inactive 50 and say, okay, fine. So as long as we're above 50% charge, this thing will be switched on. The minute we drop below 50, this thing switches off. That would sort out. Whether you do that with the drone or not, could do the same. Could say like, 10%. And say, well, we're going to lose the drone at 10%. But again, that requires another one of these because you're micromanaging these budgets. And one of these power control devices, sensors, is one CPU. That's probably the thing that bothers me is the fact that it uses up a CPU. How much does it help us, save us, hinder us? Don't really know. I mean, we could say the same about the lights. So, we've got all these lights, most of which are broken anyway. And say, like the drone, you switch all of the lights off below 10%, and people just have to go living in the dark. But then, so this is basically only to supply the freezers with the power that they need. So you could micromanage all of those kinds of bits and pieces. You could do the same with, sorry, not that, with the sensor arrays and all the rest of it. So we could do that, and it might be worth doing. And I might have a look at setting up a very specific circuit for this, the drone, and all of the sensors, and do that one next. That might be a way to do it. I've also looking at, in terms of while we're talking about automation, this, which is a thermostat. And again, one CPU, but I think it will be of value because this thing, if I can get this thing to switch on and off automatically, it'll save me some power. And I think by itself it can't handle the room, so I think we need to add another one, at least one. I'll try adding another one eventually, and this thermostat, and then I can have these thermostatically controlled so that we can save some power and say, right, these things are only going to switch on when it gets above 36 in here. I mean, what is their heat tolerance anyway? Their heat tolerance is anything below 58. I mean, at the minute it's 49, but maybe even 40, and say, right, we're only ever going to switch these things on when it gets like ridiculously hot, and then I don't ever need to worry about them again, other than repairs. I just leave this thing running and say I don't ever need to worry about that because they'll come in here. These vents balance out the whole of these rooms here, so I don't need to worry about that. This is actually cooler in here anyway, and these are about the same. So I don't think it matters to those. It really just matters to the people, I think. So my plan is to do that as well. So my plan is to add some automation to try and cut down our energy budget and try and make things work a little bit better. Just from the point of view that we need to save some juice. We need to save some juice for our defenses and our freezers. At the minute, we're only running 2 freezers, and I don't honestly think we're ever going to need more than 2. I mean, I built a room sufficient to hold a bunch of them, but we'll see how it goes. But I don't think, honestly, we need that. We're up to 1.2k. We're harvesting like crazy. We've fallen a little bit behind, but that's because growth has stopped and things aren't growing as much as they were. It's not from want of trying. We've kept up with the harvesting really, really well. We've managed the blight really, really well, as you saw. So we've managed to make it through to the end of the year with some really good progress and some really thinking about automation, some efficiencies. We're now doing more than just struggling to survive. We're now looking at optimizing power usage, optimizing our defenses so that we can avoid having to deal with as many things on a manual basis as possible. And we're going pretty good with all of the other resources we have. Medically speaking, we're on top of it. We've got 43 first aid kits, 52 antibiotics, 14 healing balms, 26 bandages. We're comfortable for a while. We've got enough clothes and synthetic jackets and armor and things kicking around. We're on the verge with weapons. We're bimbling along just about, but it wouldn't be, with the electric smelters outside of a heat wave, it wouldn't be desperately difficult to catch up with some more laser pikes, for example, some more laser pistols. So we can do that kind of thing. We're really desperately in need of some good tools. We've got some healing tea going, which is great. I've got some mushrooms growing for the stimulating tea. They got Xenoflora bite and I had to cut them all out, so that was a bit of a pain. We've got fabrics. We're short of leathers. We really need leathers, as it were. That's something I probably need to stock up, and you can only stock up by either hunting these critters over here, which can be quite aggressive, or we start growing what you call it, that skin bark plant, which we haven't even observed yet. There's some over here, but we haven't even observed that. Oh no, we have skin bark. So we could take one of these. We probably don't need as much of these energy crystals. I mean, how many energy crystals have we got? Where's the thing? We got 234 energy crystals. We got bucket loads of the things. So we could, in theory, you know, take out an energy crystal field. And I think you need a bigger field, so we might have to take out a hay and an energy crystal and put in a skin bark and start working on leathers, because that's something that we're a bit short of, and we do need them for various bits and pieces. So that might be a pretty good idea. Other than that, really, year 10 is consolidating these defenses. We've come a long way from the beginning of year 9. We really have. We've got this entire fence. We're talking about moving things. We've got these ready to be built. They just haven't been built. And I think with the way scrap is going, what I intend to do perhaps is continue building all of these defenses until they're all ready before I get rid of this, because I'm just not happy that we will be safe enough until I have all of these built. And if we ever get Krista to finish, how long will it take her to finish this? The flak cannons. We'll have a look at the situation with the flak cannons. I don't think she's going to get it finished before they all quit for New Year's. So anyway, that's all of the plans. That's all of the things. That's all of the everything that we really have to do. So yeah, I'd say we've come a long way, and we seem to be able to manage just about everything that nature has thrown at us so far. And I think we will continue to manage everything that nature has thrown at us so far. Still a bit disappointed we haven't got a number 4. Maybe in year 10 we'll get a number 4. It would definitely be something nice to see. We get a 4th person in here and really start ramping up. But you know, I think we've gone a little bit backwards in terms of funds from where we were, but I think we've got plenty to move forward with. So yeah, the future's bright. Maybe we need some shades. Please drop a like. Please subscribe. Please click the bell notification so you know when the next one of these comes out. And I'll see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.